What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey. And today, we're going to talk about this NBA playoff round 3, game 1 Western Conference Finals matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, so this game will be played at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time on Wednesday night. All right, the line did open up over under 206, Minnesota -4. The line has since moved over under 207.5 some places, 207 some places, and Minnesota -4. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a quick look into this matchup, see what's been going on between these two teams. All right, the first thing you need to understand coming into this is the actual injury report, which there's no changes per se on the injury report, but at the end of the day, Maxi Kleber being out for the rest of the season or extended period with that AC joint on the right shoulder is very, very key in this actual matchup, man. And I'm going to tell you guys why. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and let's start looking at how these two teams have been playing on the court, right? So we all know Dallas is coming out of that 6-game series versus the OKC Thunder. They were able to win 2 games straight to close them out. 117 to 116 back on the 18th, guys, about 4 days ago. They did not cover the 3.5 that they were giving up in that game, and the line did go over the 208.5. All right, what you would expect in a game 6 kind of matchup, even though I think I was leaning towards the under. I might have been, I don't know. Just look at the video that's going up to the side. That'll tell you which way I went. I know I did hit on this game a couple times, actually. But, yeah. So, and coming into this series right now, they're 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10, and 5 to the over, 5 to the under. All right, and all that includes is them playing the Clippers and them playing OKC. Okay, so far throughout these playoffs. They actually had been playing a streak of unders prior to that last game. They played 3 games under in a row, guys, prior to that last game. All right, and then when you talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're coming to this 7-3 straight up in the last 10, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, and 5 to the over, 5 to the under in their last 10 games. They did win that last game against Denver with the miraculous comeback. They down by 20 and walked that thing down 98-90 back the other day on the 19th, about 2 days ago. They did also cover the 4 points that they were getting. I did hit on that. I did hit on the under. I did hit on Denver in the first half, and I did hit on Denver in the first quarter in that game, guys. I had a good feeling on that, I guess. But you can see it on the side. But they're coming out 2 unders in a row. All right, they went under the 201.5 in that last game, and then they went under the 205 in the previous game. So in their last 3, it's 2 unders, 1 over in the last 3 games that these two that they have played. Now, when you're talking about the last 10 times these teams have actually matched up, okay, because they've already seen each other only 4 times this year. All right. And the 4 times they saw each other this year, Minnesota won 3 of them. Dallas did win 115 to 108 back on January 7th. And they did cover the 2. But when you're looking against the spread, it's 2-2. Okay, so just because Minnesota wins doesn't mean they cover. Like, as an example, Minnesota was giving up 12 points back on December 28th to Dallas. And Dallas covered the 12, and it went under the 228. So in the last 10 times they have played, though, when you're looking outside of this season, okay, it's 6-4 to Minnesota. That's 5-5 against the spread even. All right, and it's 2 to the over, 8 to the under, guys. These guys haven't played an over since February 13th, 2023. Okay, no times have these two teams have met this year and it's went over. It's went under every single time. Even when they had a high-scoring game like that 118 to 110 Minnesota victory back on December 28th, and the over-under was set at 228.5, and it went under the 228.5 by half a point, guys, or by the hook. And Dallas, to be honest with you, in Minnesota, Dallas hasn't won in Minnesota since December 21st of 2022. Yeah, it's been a while, guys. It's been a while since Dallas has won in Minnesota. And in that game specifically that they won in Minnesota, the game did go under. The over-under was set at 228, and it went under 228. Now, yes, all these over-unders for these two teams are set pretty high. 221s, 234s, 232s, things like that. But at the end of the day, okay, it's still where they were projected to score at. That's like just how they got the 118 to 110, and the hook is what sent it under, guys. All right, but like I said, they've only played two overs in the last 3 years. It's only happened. It happened once in Dallas and once in Minnesota. Okay, the one in Dallas was back on December 21st, 2021, and then the one in Minnesota where it actually went over was February 13th. Of 2023, 124 to 121. But Minnesota won that, covered the 6, guys. All right, so when you're looking at these two teams right now, okay, and you're looking at how these two teams have matched up, and you just got to look at what they did for the season, right? Because that's going to tell you the closest to what they do on a consistent basis, outside of what they've been doing in these playoffs, which we're also going to talk about that too. All right, but on the season, okay, Dallas scored 116.4 points per game, which is the number 8 offense in all of the NBA. But Minnesota's got a number 1 defense in the NBA. Okay, only giving up 105.7 points per game, whereas Minnesota on offense, they're the number 18th offense in the NBA, going all the way throughout the playoffs, being 112, scoring 112.4 points per game. And Dallas, they give up 114.1. They're the 17th best defense in all of the NBA. Now, we all know a few things changed for these two teams, especially for Dallas, okay, after they made that Gafford trade. And for Minnesota, you know, they had that time period where they were without Karl Anthony Towns. And yeah, so that did kind of hurt them, okay? But at the end of the day, you're still talking about two teams that love to shoot the two, okay? Dallas offense, 2-point percentage, efficiency, they shoot 56.3% from 2, which is number 5 in all the NBA. But Minnesota's defense against the 2-point shot, opposing teams, they only give up teams to shoot 50.7%. So they will lock that interior paint down usually, man, in that mid-range. Okay, Minnesota also has the number 8 defense against the 3. Okay, they only allow opponents to shoot 35.5% from 3, whereas Dallas, from the season all the way until now, they shoot 36.9%. That's the number 12 best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Now, when you invert it and you look over there for Minnesota on the offense, Minnesota's offense is 14th in the NBA at 2-point percentage, shooting 54.6% from the field, whereas Dallas, they're the 10th best defense against the 2-pointer, and they only give up opponents shooting percentage of 53.8% per game. All right, now with the 3, Minnesota's got the 3rd best 3-point shooting team in the NBA, man. They shoot 38.3% from the field, from the 3. Okay, and this is where they got something over Dallas. Dallas's defense against the 3, they're 17th in the NBA, and they average allowing teams to shoot 36.6% from 3, guys. Okay, now, this is kind of pivotal, but at the same time, it changes a little bit, but not much. Okay, so when you're looking postseason, okay, just in the postseason, all right, offense, Minnesota has the number 2 offense left in the playoffs right now. If you were looking overall out of all the playoff teams, they were the 4th best, but they played 11 games now, and out of all the teams left, there's only 4 left. They have the 2nd best offense in the NBA, okay? Only scoring 108.4 points per game. They're shooting 47.2% from the field, and from 3, they are shooting 35.8% from 3, guys. They're giving you about 44.1 rebounds a game. So they're only getting 21.2 personal fouls a game, guys. So they're not a bad team, okay, offensively. Whereas when you're talking about the Dallas Mavericks offense is ranked the 4th best offense left in the playoffs. So they got the worst offense left in the playoffs. They only score 106.5 points per game. They shoot 45.9% from the field. and they from three they actually shoot 36.6% from three, guys. All right, so when you're talking about who's better from three right now, of course, Dallas is going to be better from three. And right now, field goal percentage, Minnesota actually shoots a better field goal percentage. But when you look at the defense and how these two teams play on defense so far in the playoffs, right? Number two defense left in the playoffs is the Minnesota Timberwolves. So remember, they were the number one defense in all of the NBA from regular season all the way until now, if you tabulate all that together. But just in the playoffs, they're the number two defense in all of the NBA that's left. Okay, if you counted teams like the Magic and Oklahoma City, they'd be the fourth best defense in the NBA. All right, Minnesota only gives up 99.6 points per game. They allow teams to shoot from the field 45.7% from the field, and from three 35.7%. Whereas Dallas is right behind them. Okay, Dallas has got the third best defense left in the playoffs. Okay, out of four teams. They give up 103.2 points per game, though, and they allow teams to shoot 44% from the field, which is slightly. They're a little bit better at defense right now as far as field goal percentages allowed. All right, because remember, Minnesota allows teams to shoot 45.7%, and Dallas allows teams to shoot 44%. And then when you look at from three, they're like right on top of each other. Dallas only allows people to shoot 35.4% from three, and Minnesota only allows people to shoot 35.7% from three. Okay, so as far as in the playoffs concerned and how these two teams have been playing, you kind of see they're evenly matched on defense, and or close to evenly matched. They apply pressure. They don't really allow you to shoot twos. They get out to the 3-pointer and defend the three pretty decent. But offensively, man, Dallas has really been lacking in these playoffs. All right, but when we look overall, right, because we always got to pay attention to a quarter by quarter basis, because you got to be able to understand the trend of how these two teams are playing and be able to recognize what's going on. All right, so we're just looking at the full season. Full season, Dallas has the ninth best offense in all the NBA, scoring 29.5 points per game in the first quarter. But Minnesota, their defense is the sixth best defense in all of the NBA. Okay, only allowing 27.1 points per first quarter. And then when you invert it, Minnesota, their offense, they're only scoring 27.9 points per game in the first quarter. That's the 18th best in all the NBA. And Dallas, they're not too much better. All right, they're allowing 29 points per game in the first quarter, and they're the 20th best defense in all of the NBA, guys. So Minnesota's defense should have an advantage over Dallas's offense. I can see Minnesota only probably allowing 28 points, maybe 27 points. Probably just the 27, maybe 28 though. They might get over that actual average of what Minnesota actually gives up, because they do score 29.5. But at the same time, Dallas gives up 29 points per game in the first quarter, guys. All right. And so if Minnesota's scoring 27.9, you can pretty much guess that they're going to probably get to 30. It'll be about 29 to 30 points in that first quarter they're going to score, guys. All right. But that's on a great day. All right. This is with everything, perfect conditions, and they're doing great. But not just that. This is also cumulative, like I said. So when you look at the second quarter, Dallas's offense scores 29.2 points per game. That's the ninth best offense in all the NBA, whereas Minnesota has the third best defense in all the NBA, only allowing teams to score 26.8 points per game. And then when you flip it, Minnesota's offense is only scoring 27.9 points per game, which is 20th in the NBA, but Dallas is giving up 28.7 points per game in the second quarter, which is 17th in the NBA. All right, now when you look in the third quarter, Dallas's offense, the ninth best in the NBA. They score 29.1 points per game, but Minnesota's defense is the best defense in all the NBA, man. They only allowing 25.1 points per game, hence why you saw what you just saw when they played Denver and how they were able to walk that down like that in the second half, man. All right? And then when you invert it, look at Minnesota's offense. Now, Minnesota's offense still ain't great. They only scoring 28.4 points per game. That's 19th best in the NBA. And Dallas's defense is doing a little bit better. They're giving up 28.3 points per game in the third quarter, 13th best in the NBA. But that's not like the number one defense. The way them boys come out in that second half, man, like they play great defense all game long. But that second half, that third quarter and fourth quarter, man, Minnesota's defense just comes out swarming, guys. All right, so that's why in the fourth quarter, Dallas actually scores 28.4 points per game. That's the number 7 offense in all the NBA. And Minnesota, they give up 26.1 points per game. But that's the third best defense in all the NBA, guys. So let's just recalculate that. First quarter defense, Minnesota's 6th best in the NBA. Second quarter, third best. Third quarter, first best. Fourth quarter, third best. What you see right there is a consistent pattern. They lock in and play defense, and as the game goes on, their defense gets better. Now, it gets better in the second quarter because they learned what you did in the first quarter. And then the third quarter, they come out, swarm you, okay? And in the fourth quarter, they just straight lock it down, okay? And, I don't know any other way to look at it besides that, guys. It's definitely a lot to pay attention to in this series, though. All right, so on the playoffs, man, both these teams are coming in straight up 8-4 and 8-3. Dallas is 8-4. Minnesota's 8-3 in the playoffs as a home favorite on the season. Minnesota is 30-12, and as an away underdog, Dallas is 8-14 straight up, guys. All right, now with a rest advantage, Dallas is 8-6 straight up, and with a rest disadvantage, Minnesota is 9-6. So they're able to come out and play in that situation. And when Vegas says that Dallas is the underdog, they're usually not able to come out and actually get a surprise victory, guys. I'm just saying, okay, especially in no way roll. But when you look against the spread, okay, in these playoffs, Dallas is 7-5 against the spread. Minnesota is 8-3 against the spread. When you look on the season, including the playoffs, as a home favorite against the spread, Minnesota is 17-23-2. So they do not cover as home favorites, guys. And as an away underdog against the spread, Dallas is 11-11. And then when you look with a rest advantage, Dallas is 6-8 against the spread. And with a rest disadvantage, Minnesota's 6-8-1. All right, so you do have an opportunity for Dallas to kind of cover in this game, guys. When you look at the over-under is concerned and how that's played out, right? Throughout the playoffs, Dallas is 5 to the over, 7 to the under, whereas Minnesota is 6 to the over and 5 to the under. As a home favorite, Minnesota does 19 to the over, 22 to the under with 1 push. And then as an away underdog, Dallas is 9 to the over, 12 to the under with 1 push. With rest advantage, they're 4 to the over and 10 to the under. Okay, and with a rest disadvantage, Minnesota is 10 to the over and 5 to the under, guys. All right, so they tend to let you run a little bit more when they don't have that equal rest or rest advantage. When you're talking about Minnesota, the defense does lock in, but it's not locked in like that. Yeah, but. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at the stat splits for this series. So in the last 3 games, Dallas has scored 105.7 points per game and gave up 102.7 points per game. Minnesota scored 103.3 points per game and only gave up 90.7 points per game. All right, on the season, like I said and told you earlier, Dallas scores 115.6 in an away roll and gives up 114.5, whereas Minnesota, in the home roll, they score 111.5 points and they only give up 103.1 points, guys. So there's definitely a lot of things that you can see, or a lot of holes in where you can actually get your money at in this game, guys. Especially when you're looking at just how these two teams have been playing coming into this series. All right, so just to give you a couple things, man. Dallas Mavericks have hit the game total under in 45 of their last 69 games, guys. That's 25% return on investment. Minnesota has covered the third quarter spread in 51 of their last 81 games, guys. That's 19% return on investment. If you're looking for how the Dallas has played in the second quarter, they've hit the second quarter total under in 42 of the last 65 games. All right, that's 23% return on investment. And if you're looking at Minnesota in the second quarter, they've also hit the total under in 43 of their last 67 games, guys. Do you guys see the trends that we're talking about here as far as how these two teams have played, and especially how they've been playing towards the under, and how defense kind of locks in for these two teams? Minnesota has hit the first half game total under in 38 of their last 62 games. All right, that's a 16% return on investment. And the Dallas Mavericks have covered the fourth quarter spread in 14 of their last 18 away games, guys. That's 49% of the time. You catch them in the fourth quarter when they're getting 1.5 or they're getting whatever they're getting, they're usually going to cover that, guys. All right, just for some in-game perspectives that you guys can be paying attention to and hopefully get ahead on. Just the last thing I want to cover with you guys. So, the Dallas Mavericks were here 2 years ago, guys, only to get bounced in 5 games by the eventual NBA championship Golden State Warriors. It's just been 2 years ago, right? When the Timberwolves and Mavs match up, okay, in this game 1 tomorrow night, it's going to be a hard-fought, battle for battle, blow for blow defensive series, okay? Mike Conley says, I think what's gotten us here to the spot where we've been at is the realization of every game is the biggest game and every game is the only game. All right. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns says, we don't have a big 3. We have a big 15. Every single person means a lot to this team, and they help in so many ways. This game shows it's the Timberwolves, not Karl-Anthony Towns, not Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves are a special team. And one could say the same thing about the Mavericks, man. Like, they do have Luka Doncic over there, all right? And this is what Luka said. He said, I have insane confidence in his in this team, all right? This team is special when he's talking about his Mavericks, all right? So he also feels the same way. He should. You know what I mean? The Mavericks have been playing great. Jason Kidd said defensively they're one of the best teams in the league, all right, when he's talking about the Timberwolves. Offensively, they get out in transition, and they're as good as anyone. Ant Edwards is playing MVP level right now. They've got guys that can score the ball, and then Conley is the glue. He keeps those guys together. This is a great test for us. All right, and I believe it is, because at the end of the day, all right, this game is going to come down to coaching, and it's going to come down to how Karl-Anthony Towns can stretch the court for the Timberwolves. And is Ant Edwards going to be overly spent having to chase Luka around and cover Luka? Or are you going to put Conley on him? But Conley's probably a little too small to put on him. All right. Or are you going to put Ant on Kyrie? You know, those are all the matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing in this series, guys. So, my picks, my leans, where am I at? I'm going to be 100. I'm definitely taking the under. Okay, like I told you, it's 2 to the over and 8 to the under. And the last 10 times these two teams have played, they have not played an over since February 13th of 2023. And then before that, it was way back on December 21st of 2021, guys. All right, and so these two teams are going to lock in. They're going to play D. So I'm definitely taking the under 207.5. Hopefully I can try to find it somewhere where I might be able to get a 208 or something like that. But definitely the under 207.5 is where I'm going to go, guys, on that. And then who's going to win? I'm going to be honest with you. I like Minnesota minus the 175, man, on the money line. I think that's the way to go in this game. Just because of the fact that I believe that Minnesota is a young team. They're a team that they're still finding their way as far as who they are. But at the end of the day, I think they kind of know where they want to be and who they think they could be, you know. And knowing who you could be could help you out. I also am scared of Dallas right now just because of the way that Kyrie's been playing, man. Kyrie has not shown up offensively. He's been showing a lot of defensive prowess, but he ain't been showing up offensively, man. And you're going to need him to score at some point in time. P.J. Washington is not going to be that guy in this series, okay? Minnesota plays defense all around the board, and they match up great with them. I mean, fantastic with them. This isn't the Oklahoma City Thunder where you got Chet Holmgren weighing 175 pounds down there, 212 pounds at 7'2" or whatever like that. You actually got some big boys over there, man. I expect Naz Reid to have a big game. Naz Reid, you might want to look towards that Naz Reid player prop, man. I think Naz Reid gonna come out there and put up some numbers. I also am probably going to look towards I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do on that first half. Okay. But as far as the get full game, definitely Timberwolves money line, the under. If I'm messing with the spread, I'm going to take some points with the Mavericks and add points to that. So I'll probably give them 7 points or 7.5 points. That would, if I moved it up to 7 points or 7.5, which you can't do right now, by the way. Right now, you can only move it up to 5. But yeah, I'll probably go ahead and move that up to 5. You can get that at a -125. And if you're looking team totals right now, it's Mavericks 101.5 and Timberwolves 105.5. I don't know about that one, man. Either team. I'm not gonna say that either one of these teams is gonna hit 100 or 102. In this game. I think this is going to be a very closely contested matchup. I think that that Denver's going to play some defense, and yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it, guys. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. Please like, subscribe, share the video with your homeboys, man. Let everybody get some money. I'll see you at the window. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. Peace.